Hi everyone, welcome to the Where To podcast, where we will answer all of your Where To questions. We are here to discuss mental health and resiliency with you in order to help you live the best life possible. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Where To with PFH Prevention, where we discuss all things resources with the Preferred Family Healthcare Prevention Department. I'm April.
And I'm Kylie.
And we are Missouri Show Me Hope Crisis Counselors with the Missouri Show Me Hope Crisis Counseling Program. Today we are discussing where to find tobacco cessation resources as well as tips for assisting youth in tobacco use and vaping prevention efforts. We are joined by prevention specialist Abby Newland. So Abby, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yes, so I worked in this department a couple of years. I am the prevention specialist for Service Area 13, so kind of Caldwell, Davies, Trenton, Chillicothe, those kind of areas. I have 9 coalitions there. I work with them. I work with a lot of health departments, schools, and I really love prevention work.
So our fun question is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I think I would teleport as a superpower. I mean, imagine the vacations with no travel time.
That's true.
I mean, that would be so nice, right? I could go.
Or getting to work. You could wake up like 5 seconds before work.
But I could go to the beach and be back, like on a weekend. Oh, yeah. Teleportation.
Okay.
It is a good one.
April, what would yours be?
I think mine would be like super speeds because then I can clean my house in like 5 seconds and do my homework in like 2 seconds.
That's good. Mine, so I don't copy anyone, would be shapeshifter. So I could become a mouse.
Oh my god.
Or like a bird.
That's a superpower of a mouse.
Have you seen Sky High? Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Sky High.
Referenced all these young things.
I bet that's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Probably.
I bet it is.
That.
Awesome. So I know that you focus quite a bit on tobacco prevention and reducing the use of vaping and kind of putting those efforts out there in the communities. So how do you think COVID has impacted the use of tobacco and things like vaping, Juuls in your service areas that you work with?
So I think you naturally think that it would have gone down. People are worried about other things, but they've actually increased tobacco and especially vaping use. A lot of youth have the mentality, it's not going to happen to me. They think their age really makes them invincible to COVID and vaping related illnesses. So all of those sales have really stayed the same with a slight increase. There's been a huge increase in alcohol, but vaping and tobacco is pretty well stayed the same, if not increased a little bit, unfortunately.
So what about, are there any programs within communities, within schools that people can use or that you've seen used?
Yeah, so a lot of schools are implementing kind of cessation programming in their schools. Some choose to do it as a curriculum, so maybe in a health class, a 6 to 8 week program that educates them about what the products are so they can make informed decisions. A lot of other schools are using it more in their discipline area. So if someone gets caught with a vape, some schools have a no tolerance policy. So if you get caught with a vape or cigarettes or anything on campus, you either get ISS or OSS. But if you have ISS or detention, they're implementing programs like Catch My Breath, or the Heart Association has smoke-free programs. And so you have to go through the program to get back to regular class. So I think that's really, really great.
What are all of the programs that are implemented in schools?
Catch My Breath is the biggest one. The smoke-free one, Smoke Busters is another one. There's a handful. Those are the only 3 I can think of right now, but there's lots of different ones to choose from, and they're evidence-based. They're usually free, and they come in toolkits for a school, and you can usually just apply the school itself, and it'll give you options.
I think the only one that I'd ever heard of was Smoke Busters. I remember that being a thing when I was in school, but I wasn't familiar with any other type of curriculum or anything. So.
Not a lot of our schools have a Smoke Busters group anymore, but a lot of people still rely on the original program.
Awesome. Okay, so what resources are available for Whether it's parents, people in the community, adolescents, what resources can people find out there?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's a variety of different resources. So for adults, there's a lot of in-person cessation groups, so like counseling programs, things like that you can do, as well as there's always the 1-800-QUIT-NOW, quit line. There's always a variety of phone apps that you can use, which adults 18 and up, there's the FDA approved cessation materials. So that's like the patches, the gum, the lozenges. There's also prescription medication. There's Chantix and Zoloft that are used for cessation. The new recommendation is to use those on top of each other. So, you can be on Chantix as well as a patch, or, use the gum along with the patch. And, talk to a doctor before you do stuff like that. But what makes it tricky is that stuff is 18 and up. So all these youth that are vaping or using cigarettes, they can't use these FDA-approved products because they're not old enough. It's not meant for them. So they have to rely on basically apps for their phone or texting services, the youth or the Truth Initiative, and there's a couple of other big anti-vaping campaigns that are really pushing stuff like that. So like Ditch Vape is one that you can text to 88709. You can text QUIT to 202-899-7550. On smokefree.gov, there's a lot of websites like that. They have a quit vaping plan. They have a quit smoking plan for youth. Depending on who your provider is, you can usually get a physician involved in that if you're a minor, with parent approval, of course. But it's a little different for youth, but there's still stuff out there, lots of things, which for adults, if you call the quit line 1-800-QUIT-NOW, you can usually get free patches through the quit line. So that's an option if money is a problem.
And I've also heard, too, that some health insurance companies through people's work are doing like incentive programs, whether it's free access to medication, different benefits to quitting smoking, or if you're making an effort to be a little healthier in that way.
Yeah, very true. I've definitely heard of people saying their EAP program will provide a monetary amount of smoking cessation resources or so many free counseling sessions targeted towards tobacco cessation.
Game on!
Okay, so now it's time for our trivia segment. So our first question is, what is the biggest island in the world?
Oh my gosh, island?
Uh-huh. Try to think opposite of ice.
Australia?
No.
Australia's not an island. That's stupid. Ask it again.
I don't even know the name of any island.
Well, it ends with land. It's really big. It's up north.
Iceland, Greenland?
It's Greenland.
Greenland?
Yeah. It's 2,131,000 square kilometers, but I Googled it and it's actually 822,783 square miles. Isn't that huge?
I didn't think it was that big.
Me neither.
No. I was thinking of anything that was like surrounded by water on the map. Oh my gosh.
Yep. The second question is, what is the diameter of the Earth?
Oh my gosh. Does anybody know that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Okay,
sure
anybody
but Google super smart people.
Probably scientists.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea.
Just guess. You can guess in kilometers or miles, because I have both.
Maybe like, what? 900,000 miles? Is that a lot?
900,000.
Is that too many?
I don't even know. I have no concept of how big the Earth is.
Huh.
What did you put?
I feel like it should be something like that. My answer was 12,742 kilometers or 7,917.5 miles, but that doesn't sound right.
7,000 miles?
Yeah. Well, if you round up.
Well, how many
8,000.
miles is it from like coast to coast?
I didn't Google
In the
it.
Well, I'm trying to think of I'm trying to gather some perspective here.
It's 1,000 miles from here to California.
Okay. So you might as well say 2,000
I
miles across the whole country?
I believe so.
Then I feel like my 900,000 was way off then. That doesn't seem like enough.
I know. It seems very small.
Yeah.
Think of the sun. So big. Okay. Okay, that's the end of our trivia segment.
So what would you suggest somebody's first step be towards reducing tobacco use, things like that, whether it be for their community, for themselves, what would the first step be for someone looking to make those changes?
So that's a really good question. I feel like a lot of people get caught up in, where do I start? I see the problem, I want to make change. Really the first step is kind of assessing community readiness. Like, just because I think there's a problem and feel like there needs to be a fix, like, does everybody else see that problem? Like, is the school willing to change their tobacco policy? Are the Parks and Rec also willing to work on making their parks smoke free? Or is the community very pro and smoker friendly kind of thing? I know a couple of our communities have tried to make all of their businesses smoke free, or a lot of the restaurants. Some have had success, some have not. And some of that could be attributed to they just jumped into directly talking to the businesses instead of maybe starting with a plan and getting collaboration with partners and maybe raising some awareness and education first. Those pieces really help community readiness and get everybody on the same page, because a lot of people don't see the problem. So by educating the community through presentations, media, PSAs, whatever it might be, community town halls, you might have to go to your community legislation meetings, whatever that might be. But getting that out there gets people on board with your ideas. So then when you want to actually implement your strategies, whether it's changing policy or starting a coalition, maybe, that's a really good way to affect change in your area. But when you come to those decisions, you're going to have a lot more support and a lot more bandwagon people join with you. But that's where I would say. So assess readiness, and then get a plan going, get some partners, awareness, education, and then coalition policy change is like the next level. That's like the big action to take.
Awesome. So we want to thank Abby for joining us today and just talking about tobacco cessation resources and how you can find them for yourself or for your community or those around you. If you want more information about some of these resources, you can email moprevention@pfh.org. We have some events coming up, a prevention party in the park, which will be Saturday, July 31st here in Kirksville. As always, if you are interested in the QPR and mental health first aid trainings that are offered through prevention, get a hold of us, find us on Eventbrite.
And I think that's it. If you guys can share this podcast with your friends, if you like it, please listen to our other podcasts. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Yes, we appreciate all of your guys' support.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Abby. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to this week's podcast on Where To. This podcast was brought to you by Preferred Family Healthcare Prevention. For more information about PFH Prevention, please visit our Facebook page at Preferred Family Healthcare Prevention. You can also find our YouTube page at Prevention PFH, or email us at moprevention@pfh.org. See you next time.